half of all plastic produced on Earth is designed to be used only once, like these milk cartons. You know what I'm talking about. Food containers, soap, cleaning supplies. It seems like everything comes in single-use plastic. This system is wasteful, outdated, and frankly, annoying. Luckily for us, brands are starting to realize that single-use is out, and there are a bunch of companies that are working to solve this problem. So this trend got me thinking, are reusable containers the future? To find out, I talked to a startup that's delivering fresh food in reusable containers. And check out Loop, an initiative by dozens of brands who are getting on the reusable train. I'm Lucy Biggers, and this is One Small Step. Reusables are nothing new. It's the old Milkman model. A milkman would deliver full bottles to your door, and later he'd pick them up, clean them, and reuse them. This system was a closed loop, where the bottles were reused again and again. The Milkman model worked well for decades, and by 1963, nearly 30% of Americans had milk delivered to their homes. But as the shelf life of milk was extended and it became cheaper to buy at the store, the Milkman model became a thing of the past. It's unfortunate that our current convenient but wasteful single-use packaging system has taken control of almost the entire food industry. But what's old is new again. Companies are seeing the value in reusable containers as their customers come to realize our out-of-control waste problem. The first stop on my journey to bring back reusables is a company called the Walle Shop. They use reusable containers and a zero-waste model for delivering groceries to their customers. Founder Tamara Lim started the Walle Shop after seeing all the wasteful packaging at her last job.
At my previous job, I was working at Amazon, and I actually happened to be managing their packaging and shipping retail category.
Wow.
And I was speaking to brands, and they were telling me, hey, you know, I see consumers want more sustainable products, but here's the struggle. The current recycling infrastructure doesn't support products made out of recycled material because it's just so sort of shoddy, and there's a lot that goes into it. The more I looked into it, I started to realize, hey, there's an opportunity here for a better way, and if we can't recycle, can we reuse?
Walle Shop customers order products from their website. Then their team of shoppers go to local food co-ops and farmers markets to pick up the items. They use reusable containers like mason jars and cotton produce bags to carry the items they pick up. Customers pay a deposit on the packaging and return it with their next order. According to Walle Shop, since their launch in the fall of 2018, they've saved 8,000 pieces of single-use packaging. I'm curious to know what you think about the future of reusables. Is this something that could really scale and become normal?
I certainly think so. I have this sort of way of thinking that, you know, back in the day, you know, when the Amazons of the world popped up, you know, the environment just was not as big of a concern.
Right.
And so it wasn't factored in when they built their companies and the infrastructures. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to build this infrastructure from ground up. The operational model we use is very similar to FedEx, to Fresh Direct, UPS. It's this hub and spoke model. So they've obviously proven and shown to be able to scale. What we do is instead of, you know, all FedEx and UPS trucks have to go back to the warehouse, but that return trip is empty, we're saying, why not take some reusable packaging back? And so it's really just, you know, making everything more efficient. It's not really an added cost, and I think with that note, it definitely can scale.
I fully support Walle Shop's reusable zero-waste model. But honestly, they're still really small. They're only servicing a really small part of New York. If we really want to tackle this single-use issue, we need industry-wide change. That's why I'm excited to be at the launch of Loop. Loop is an initiative by a bunch of big companies who are prototyping reusable and refillable containers.
We want to emulate this idea of the convenience of disposability. So in Loop, you do the same thing. No sorting, no cleaning, you just put it back into one of these containers, and then instead of that ending up in a landfill or an incinerator or even a recycling center, it is picked up by us, it is then cleaned, and goes back to all the amazing partners who simply refill it, and around it goes again.
Why did Procter & Gamble decide to be part of the Loop initiative?
So I think it's really important that Procter & Gamble also experiments in ideas in packaging, but most importantly, the idea of having reusable packaging. Now, the products that go inside of these packages are the same products that you're going to find today, but just in packages that are designed to be able to be, again, reused, refilled once they're cleaned and sent back to the consumer.
It's a Tide laundry detergent, reusable holder. And think about those huge laundry detergent plastic containers that everyone has a million of them. Like, this is what you would get, and you would be reusing it again and again after you ordered it. And what's so interesting is, like, the bottle looks like a bottle that we already use, and so it's funny, like, we already have these in our lives, and now Loop will just be taking them back and reusing them again and again, versus when you send them to recycling.
And if you're an ice cream fan, we've got Haagen-Dazs, and what's so cool about this container is that it's insulated, so it would actually keep your ice cream cold after it gets delivered, and maybe it's like sitting on your front stoop or something like that. My biggest takeaway from all of these products is that reusable containers are prettier than single use. Every single one of these is so beautifully designed, and it's so amazing to see the thought and care that's gone into making them.
Loop is currently running a pilot program in New York City and Paris, with plans to expand to other cities soon. You can sign up at loopstore.com. So, do I think reusables are the future? Considering the average American creates 4.4 pounds of waste per day, I think they have to be. If we want to create a future with less waste, we need to vote with our dollar and support companies that are creating reusable packaging. Remember, you don't have to buy anything new to use reusables. Take stock of the items you already have and see what can be reused. That's all for this week's episode of One Small Step. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please hit subscribe and we'll see you next time.